Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing you another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Aquaman from Zack Snyder's Justice League. Aquaman is played by Jason Momoa. So let's go ahead and check out the packaging here. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse Aquaman from 2021's version of Justice League. Here he is in the package. He's got his trident, a collector's card, and display stand. One side of the package, Aquaman from Justice League. Other side, simply Aquaman. At the bottom, there's a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode, in case that helps anybody. On the back side here he is posed up with his trident, and here are a bunch of other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures you should check out. I found my figure at Walmart. They had Cyborg, Aquaman, Flash, and Black Suit Superman. No sign of Batman. Looking forward to completing the team. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He does come with a display stand, a collector's card, and more importantly, his trident. But before we look at the accessories, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Aquaman, played by Jason Momoa from Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is the first time we've gotten a 7-inch scale version of Aquaman from the DC Cinematic Universe. So let's take a look at him. Starting with his face here, I'll tell you, my honest 2 cents on the subject, he probably has the worst likeness of the entire wave. Not to say it's a bad looking figure, it screams Aquaman, but doesn't really scream Jason Momoa to me. I've read some people theorize they got the beard wrong, they got the hair wrong, the paint job's bad. Typically, these guys have really good sculpts, but the paint job has them fall short. He does have some of that signature Aquaman look to him. The long hair, the beard, the little sort of scar on his left eyebrow. But as a whole, it makes me think of, this is what Aquaman would look like if they made a comic adaptation of Justice League and he was drawn in there. Doesn't exactly look like Jason Mamoa, but definitely screams the Aquaman features from the DC Cinematic Universe. Going further down, his armor looks very nice. A lot of sculpting detail, a lot of texturing, a lot of different paint shades. You can see copper, brown, green, all kind of nice stuff there. He's got these soft shoulder pads. They're not going to obstruct any of the articulation. Looks like double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. He's got the sort of Aquaman logo on his belt. Overall, it's a very good looking figure, but just doesn't scream Jason Momoa to me. Tell me what you guys think. But the suit itself, just a lot of sculpting detail all over this thing. Definitely pleased with what I'm seeing. And just a closer look at his face. Drop me a line in the comments below. Let me know what you think. It's not a bad looking figure, but just doesn't scream Jason Momoa to me. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand, typical McFarlane stand, black perfect circle, it says DC at the bottom, it's got one peg for the peg holes on his feet, very thin, very basic. Now let's look at his collector's card. Here's an image of Jason Momoa as Aquaman posed up holding his trident. You can see Aquaman from Justice League. On the backside here, there's a little description. If you want to read it, go ahead and pause now. Now let's look at his trident. This is his only character-specific accessory, but it's pretty nice. It's very long. You see the top. It's got all these little sort of spikes on the end, 5 of them. Nice little detailing down here. The handle, pretty basic until it gets toward the bottom. Here's the McFarlane version of the trident at the top, next to the Mattel Multiverse version below. Here he is, holding his trident. He can hold it with either one hand or with 2. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height, and this guy's really tall. From bottom to the top of his head, sitting at about 7.5 inches tall, which is going to translate to about 19 centimeters. Now let's check out his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up and down about this far. Not too much, but not too bad. He can tilt his head from one side to the other, giving him a good amount of personality. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out more than 90 degrees. Like I said before, the shoulder pad is soft, it can move out of the way, it's not going to obstruct any of that. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He does have a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area, just increasing the range of motion here. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows below that, they go all the way in. His wrist here, it's got a ball in it, can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. Double ball joints in his torso. One here can rotate around, go forward and back. Another one is waist, rotate around, also goes forward and back, giving him a pretty good range of motion in his torso here. Legs go out, completely does the splits. Not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. Rotation, minimal, but it's there. Then go forward about that far, back, not too much. Double jointed knees below that. Then his ankle here goes forward and back, can rotate, can tilt and rock, and he's got toe articulation. Our heroes take the Nightcrawler down into the tunnels. They're looking for Steppenwolf and his parademons. Our heroes look down from above. The Flash says, "Boy, I really miss Superman right now." The Justice League has a long drawn-out fight with Steppenwolf and his parademons. And after a little while, Cyborg ends up taking over the Nightcrawler, firing a missile at Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf simply grabs the missile and lets it go into the ceiling. Then he boom tubes out of there. The Flash asks, what are we under? Gotham Harbor. And just when Gotham Harbor is about to flood the tunnels, Aquaman comes in and buys him a little bit of time to escape. And in the final fight of the film, Batman is driving his Batmobile, fighting with the parademons. They're starting to overrun him. They are literally tearing his car apart. And just when it looks like Batman is defeated and he's giving up, then the entire Justice League comes to save the day. They turn the tides and take the offense against Steppenwolf. Here's Aquaman standing on the side of the car, just like in the film. The car in the previous shot was the Mattel Ultimate Radio-Controlled Batmobile. That thing is huge, a little bit too big for the Mattel Multiverse figures. This is a different car. This one is the Mattel Multiverse Batmobile. It doesn't have any radio-controlled features. A little bit smaller, and I would say is a better looking Batmobile. I kind of prefer the other one with the McFarlane figures, as it's more scaled for the 7-inch figures. A couple different options though. Here's the Justice League taking on Steppenwolf, just like in the final fight in the film. We've got Steppenwolf fighting Wonder Woman and Aquaman, Cyborg in the back with a mother box, Flash running around, bunch of parademons in the background, and of course, Batman up top. And as Superman comes to save the day, Steppenwolf hits him with his axe and does absolutely nothing. Now let's check him out, next to some other action figures, starting off with the Mattel Multiverse Justice League Aquaman figure. I'm gonna have to say, it's kind of sad. The detailing is way better on the McFarlane figure by a landslide. Not only is he a lot bigger, but he looks a whole lot better, even though he's the worst likeness in the lot. What do you guys think? Is there anyone out there that actually prefers the Mattel figure? And their Aquaman isn't bad. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not trying to Mattel bash. I love their DC figures. But McFarlane is just way on a different level. Now let's check him out. Next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is with the black suit Superman from the Justice League wave. They're both some pretty tall figures. They're about the same size, but Aquaman has a beat by a hair. Here are all the members of the League from the Justice League wave that I have so far. We've got Cyborg, Aquaman, Black Suit Superman, and Flash. Still trying to find my Batman. The scaling between these four is not bad, but I believe Batman's a little bit too short. He should be about as big as Aquaman and Superman, and they kind of undersized him just a little bit. Add Wonder Woman to the mix, and I've almost got a complete lineup. Here are all the figures I have so far from McFarlane's DC Multiverse Justice League wave. We've got the Mega Fig of Unarmored Darkseid and Steppenwolf. Then we got Cyborg, Aquaman, Black Suit Superman, Flash, and a Cyborg with face shield. I'm still trying to track down the Target exclusive red and blue Superman, and then all 3 versions of Batman. Rumor is there's also going to be an upcoming New York Comic Con exclusive Speed Force Flash. And let's not forget the Target exclusive San Diego Comic Con Armored Darkseid. It's going to be quite the collection when it's done, and I hope they do more, especially a regular suit Batman. Replace Darkseid with Wonder Woman, and we can compare them with their Mattel counterparts. And here are all their Mattel counterparts. Had to get rid of Darkseid from the collection because, simply, Darkseid wasn't in Whedon's Justice League. These Mattel figures are to the McFarlane figures as Whedon's Justice League is to Zack Snyder's Justice League, inferior in every way. Here he is, next to the only live-action McFarlane DC figure they've made that's not from the DC Cinematic Universe. The next live-action figures we're going to get are going to be from the Suicide Squad, and that's also part of the DC Cinematic Universe. And then next year we're going to get some figures from The Batman. Here he is, next to Drowned. She's essentially a Batman-Aquaman hybrid from the Dark Multiverse. And here's my entire McFarlane DC Multiverse collection, including all the different variants. I've got a total of 86 figures and 2 vehicles. I'm still trying to track down the McFarlane Justice League Batman, all 3 variations, and then the Justice League Red and Blue Superman. Beyond that, I'm totally caught up. Now let's check him out, next to some other Aquaman figures. Here he is, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles Aquaman figures. And here he is, next to a Noble Toys Bendy figure Aquaman. Then, next to some Mattel Aquaman figures. Here's my entire 6 and 7 inch Aquaman action figure collection. Here he is, next to a Mattel Young Justice Aqualad figure. Here he is, next to a McFarlane Duncan Idaho figure from Dune. This is another live action figure played by Jason Momoa, both from McFarlane Toys. Here's a closer look at both their faces. Which one do you think got the Jason Momoa likeness better? I personally think the Dune one did. Drop me a line in the comments below, let me know what you think. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in, both scale and style wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7 inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines we collect and work our way smaller. Here he is, next to some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7 inch scale. Then, next to some McFarlane video game figures. And now, next to some older Jakks Pacific wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here, next to some NECA figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods action figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is, next to some Maplex figures. Then, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a pretty cool figure. My biggest complaint is the likeness is just off. It does scream Aquaman from Justice League, but it doesn't look like Jason Momoa. His trident's pretty cool. His articulation is pretty much everything you'd expect from a McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. A little annoyed with how his ankle joints are. Just the sort of arm around his shins prohibits it from kind of getting some of the poses I want. Overall, if I were to rate this guy, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. One of the weaker links in the wave, but I will say I think it's a very strong wave. Doesn't mean it's a bad figure, but not quite as good as some of the other ones. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.